Hi and welcome along to the video where today I'm just having a little chat about some of the things I like and some of the things I don't like with my Apple Watch Series 6 Nike Edition. This isn't so much a technical review, it's more of an opinion and experience based piece. I'll talk about some of the things I like and some of the things I don't like, and at the end I'll tell you if I think buying it was worth it for me or whether I should have kept my money stashed in the piggy bank. So, where shall I start? I'll start on the things I like, and I'll say now the third thing I like is the one I like the most. Then, of course, I'll get onto the things I don't like. So straight off the bat, the first thing I like about the watch is the ability to control my iPhone remotely. I find the watch to be really useful in this respect, and I've been doing this a lot more than I expected. Let me expand with some examples. I can be in the office, listening to some music on my AirPods, and I can be typing away, in the zone, and someone waves for my attention. Now, instead of reaching over to the phone, I can just turn down the volume using the crown on the watch. It's really convenient and can be done so discreetly and in one smooth brushstroke. And when I'm done talking, I'll turn it back up and go back into my special place. I've done this quite a few times and I love listening to music, so being able to control it from my watch is a massive win for me. Another music-related example was just the other day I was playing a song out of the loudspeaker on my iPhone while at a friend's place, and I put the phone in my back pocket as I had to carry a large brown box to his car. I sat in the car and the music was still playing out the phone, and I couldn't get to the phone because I had a long coat on and the brown cardboard box was on my lap. It was quite big and it had me pinned down to the seat. So instead of struggling and wriggling around in the passenger seat like a fish out of water, I simply went to the watch, opened the Now Playing app and stop the song. Simples. I've also been using the watch to remote control the camera on the iPhone. It's been really helpful for me as I shoot a lot with my iPhone, and it's helped me start recording remotely, and it avoids the camera wobbling at the start when I would normally press the record button. So that was all reason one, and yes, I know it was a lot, but I'm just grouping it all together as controlling the iPhone remotely. My second like is a much more simple one. It's the alarm. Now, I know it sounds basic, but for me, I use my watch as my secondary alarm to wake me up in the morning, my primary alarm being my trusty iPhone. Now, I know that most watches have alarms, but then again, most watches have most functions I could mention. Let me just give you an example as to why I like the alarm. My iPhone died in the middle of the night recently because, I didn't plug in the charger, and, if it wasn't for the alarm on the watch, I would have way overslept. I might even still be asleep now. There's also a bedtime schedule feature I set on the watch as part of the alarm, and it helps me wind down in the evening by putting both devices into a do not disturb mode, which is really cool and really useful. So for that reason, the alarm is the second like I like on the Apple Watch. So moving on, the third thing I like most about having the Apple Watch is the one I like the best. It's a little tricky to measure, it's an intangible so to speak, but I definitely noticed it not long after starting to wear the watch, and that is freedom from the phone. Let me explain. I don't know if you're like me in this respect, but I always found myself picking up my phone to check for something. Half the time I don't even know what I'm checking for, I just had an urge to check it for something. Well, since having the Apple Watch, the notifications I receive on the watch have broken the chains. Text messages, WhatsApp messages, calendar events, notifications from apps, they all come through to the watch. So I now know if there is something happening for me, I'll get alerted and I can check my phone at that point. As a result, the mental tie that I had to my phone has been removed. It's an emancipation of sorts, and definitely my favourite thing about having an Apple Watch. So those are the three things I like the most. Now on to the three things I don't like, and again the third one is the one I like the least. The first thing I dislike about the Apple Watch is in tandem with the phone, specifically the information the watch records and then displays in the Health app. What I'm talking about is the sleep information, the step count, the heart rate and so on. It is, to put it generously, anemic and lackluster. To me, it looks like the engineers put it together the day they were breaking up the Christmas holidays and said, yeah, that'll do, now let's go and get our mince pies. I have to compare the output from the Apple Watch to that of the Fitbit because I wore a Fitbit for a long time, and the information the Fitbit provides via its app is so rich and detailed that it really leaves Apple crawling in the dust. Apple's Health app has been like this for years, and I really don't understand why they haven't developed this yet. We know they have the resources to do it and they excel at virtually everything else they do. So come on guys, put the mince pies down and pull your fingers out on this one. I hope they can address this soon because it's a real miss on their part, and if they sorted it, it could be a really big plus point, a really big selling point, and for me it would definitely go straight onto the like list. My second dislike is one that doesn't affect me as much as the poor info in the Health app, or the reason I'm going to finish on, but I have to mention it because it doesn't work the way it's intended. Not for me anyway. And it's the hand washing app. I found it to be very hit and miss, and much more miss than hit, to be honest. There are times when I wash my hands fully for well over 30 seconds, sometimes a minute, and the timer doesn't kick in at all. I would estimate out of every 10 times I wash my hands, I'll be lucky for it to work once or maybe twice. I wash my hands the regular way, hands under the taps, lots of soap and water sloshing around, and the watch isn't covered by my sleeve or anything like that. But for some reason, it doesn't register the fact that I'm washing my hands. It's not the end of the world to me because, I'm used to washing my hands without a timer, but it would be nice if it worked as advertised. I'm not losing any sleep over this, and I certainly didn't get this watch for that function, but it's not as it should be, so the faltering hand washing app is my second dislike. I am curious to know, have you guys been able to get the hand washing app working consistently? Let me know in the comments, please. I'd really like to know. I would ask Apple, but I'm pretty sure they would just tell me that I'm washing my hands wrong. The third thing I don't like, and the one that winds me up the most, so to speak, intentional pun, it's the weak battery. There's no getting away from the fact that this battery does not last as long as I'd like it to. I get it, there's a lot going on, full colour display, notifications flying around, and an always on display, and yes, there are ways to conserve the battery, but I like to go full throttle. If you have a Ferrari, you're not going to drive it at 20 miles an hour, are you? So I like to use my watch with all the options that are beneficial to me enabled, otherwise, what's the point? Apple says the battery will last approximately 18 hours, which obviously isn't a full 24 hours, which means I find myself charging it in the morning before heading out or in the evening just so I can wear it through the night. But it's tricky to get it into a routine as it's running out at different times in the day, and unless you're carrying another charging puck or a specific wireless charger that the watch demands, you can get caught out, and I have been several times. It feels like I too frequently get a message on my watch saying, put the watch into power save mode, and at that point it's practically useless to me, and I may as well flush it down the toilet. The only saving grace is that the battery does charge quickly. An hour and a half to 100% definitely does help, but the frequency with which I have to charge is my major gripe and the Apple Watch's Achilles heels. So with my likes and dislikes in, what do I think of my Apple Watch? Do I love it or loathe it? Was it a good purchase or am I filled with regret? Let me put it like this. I really like the watch, as you can tell from my likes and how it controls the music and the freedom from the phone, and my biggest dislike is the weak battery. For me, there are two things which are most important. One is the health info, and the second is the battery. And in both of these departments, the Apple Watch just isn't cutting the mustard. So the answer is, I love the watch, but it brings what I feel is an extra hassle into my life in terms of having to charge it so often. So with everything said and done, I would give the watch a miss. I'm just being honest with my opinion, and I am not being paid by Apple, obviously, or anybody else. I always just speak my truth. I'm not saying the watch is a bad product. It isn't. It's a great product, but not one that's great for my most important needs. Having said that, I have it now, so I will make the most of it, and there's plenty to like about it. Like I say, I love the music control and the camera control, but that's just not enough to tip the scales in the favour of the likes. So what do you think? Do you agree or disagree with any of the points I've made? And what do you like or dislike most in your Apple Watch or any other watch that you're wearing? If you like this video, check out my channel. I have lots of other videos on Apple, how-tos, etc., etc. Thanks very much for tuning in, and I wish you a great day ahead.